I'm Jessica Johnson Cope,
And I'm Waleed Cope.
and
This is Commerce and Chill.
We're two business owners who work together.
And happen to be married to each other.
Join us as we discuss our thoughts on business.
And share our personal experiences on this journey.
So grab something to write with, an adult beverage, and grab your boo if you can.
Because who knows where this might lead.
And welcome back. We're live-ish.
I was gonna say live.
If you're sitting here with us, it's live. If you're at home, on your phone, on your computer, on your whatever, then it's video live video, but not so live. If you're looking from that side, you get to see the Cope Cam. What's up, Cope Cam? Woo, 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 woo. Been around the world, and I can't see my Cope Cam. Welcome back.
So what you have before you came down here today?
I had a brownie bite.
I don't know what was in it, but don't eat those anymore, please.
No, I wanted a Chick-fil-A, but I settled for a brownie bite.
Today, and by the way, today's episode is sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Psych.
Stop. It's sponsored by Sweat and Tears.
Working hard.
Yes, we have been working, so we decided to take a quick break to visit with you and talk about our thoughts on reflections and growth in business. So, Cope,
Johnson.
when you think about reflections and growth and your business excursion or your business experience, what are some of the first things that come to mind?
Wait, you said when I think about what again?
Reflections.
On, you
We're
talking about
supposed to
like
be
on
reflect.
2019?
No, we're not talking about time. My man Master P. No, not man Master P. You ever hear that Tribe Called Quest song and Q-Tip is like, oh, large professor. And he's like, don't say the date because like my man P said don't say the date because
Nah,
you don't want to
like,
date yourself.
I don't know. Like,
And-
I'm like, it doesn't matter if I date myself. Like, my whole beard is white now. It's gray. Like I'm done.
No, but some concepts are timeless.
Okay.
So you don't need to put a timestamp on them.
Okay, cool.
So when you reflect on your entrepreneurial journey and your journey in business, what are some things that come to mind when you think about how you've grown personally and how you've grown your businesses?
Some things that come to mind to reflect on growing personally and in business.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, it's a lot.
Start small.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something like
Start
really-
small, like the brownie bite I just ate.
I would say like not taking stuff so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is like interwoven, so people get hung up like, or I used to get hung up like, oh, this happened, and then thinking back like, if that didn't happen, or I should have done this instead. But just thinking back and realizing that this thing happened, which ended up leading to something else, which led to that, which led to this win. But when you first look at the first thing that started it, you be like, oh, it's a bad thing. You don't realize that it leads to something else. So if you take it all seriously and be like, oh, I'm getting all bent out of shape, just like bump it. It happened, deal with it, and just move on to the next thing, and then watch what it ends up blossom into.
So is that more on a personal side or on the business side?
I would say both. Because the same thing with business, like stuff is going to go wrong. Like a client calls about something one of the guards did, or somebody calls and was like, oh, something was wrong with their, their dry clean order or something. And I was like, either I can just wig out and be like, whose fault is it? Blah, 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 da-da-da, it's your fault. And just hit the pause button and be like, it happened. How do we fix it? And address it. So yeah, personal and business.
So are there any regular intervals in which you stop and reflect on your journey?
Like every day. Like it's weird for me. Something else to do. Like I don't sit, like I don't know, you like read these books or you see people in these videos or on stage and they just be like, at this point in time, like they say this one thing happened in their life and then they're like, that changed everything for me. Like, and I get it, respect, it happens. To me it's just like, it's every day. Like X happened, I'm like, okay, go do Y. Like I can't think of like one defining moment like where I'm like, oh, this happened and it just changed the course of my life. Like, every day I'm just looking at what happened and then just changing the course of the ship like in real time. Like I don't know. Like I'm just telling you like it is. Like inside my head is weird. Like it's just I don't know. Like you're asking me to like describe what's in there. It's like I don't know.
I'm not necessarily asking you to describe what's
It's
in
a
there.
dangerous place in
But
there.
if somebody were new to business and they're trying to start, or if they're young and don't have a lot of business experience, what can you tell them that will help them? If you just like, oh, you don't understand what's in my head.
But that's a different question you're asking me now.
So like no, like if
My head is confused. No.
yeah, it is confusing.
You're asking me so many hard questions. Like somebody new in business,
Yes,
what would I tell them
about reflections
about reflection?
and reflecting. Like for
know,
example,
like-
how often should you reflect?
Like I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't take it that serious. Oh, sorry, I cursed. Like I take it seriously, but I don't take it serious. So people be like, "Oh, you should reflect and like think about." I'm just like, listen, this happened. It was a good result. It was a bad result. It was bad. Don't do that anymore. It was good. Oh, let's do more of that. Throw gas on it. Like I don't know. To me, the reflection thing is like, it's not that deep. I'm not saying it's not an important thing or people shouldn't reflect, but to me, it's like it happened. Let's just go because I don't want to dwell too much on the past because then you get hung up on the past and then you get stuck in the paralysis and then you're analyzing this and you're analyzing that. And I'm just like, this happened. It was good. Okay, I'm gonna do more of it. This happened. It was bad. I don't want to do that again. I don't know.
But you're contradicting yourself.
How?
Because
Well,
you're saying
first of all, I
no.
am a contradiction. Like I don't know. Like
Because you're saying
I just told you. In
you're
my
saying
head, like-
reflection doesn't matter, but then you're saying, oh, reflect. Is it good? Okay, good. If it's bad,
But I'm
it's
saying
bad.
like not that deep. Like I'll reflect on it for like maybe I don't know a couple seconds, maybe a minute. But I'm not like going into this whole deep like journey and retrospect and be like, oh, when I was 5, I shouldn't have put my hand on the icing, and then my moms came and spanked me from ruining the birthday cake before they lit the candle and blew it out. I'm just like, I see cake, I don't touch the icing until somebody says happy birthday, and then I'll be like, oh, icing, yay! Like I don't know.
So do you think that it would be better if you had a more structured approach to reflection?
I don't know. I can't say yes or no because everybody's different and like works for some people like super structured. In my head, I'm like really structured. Like you have no idea. Like in my head,
I can't tell.
Like the whole team is laughing right now. For all you, everybody out there behind the camera, everybody in the team is laughing because they're like, yeah. In my head, I'm like super organized and structured, which is why I want team members around me who are really organized and practical and disciplined in what they do and structured. But in real life, I'm just like, it's like here, do, which is like having a team is important, like a good team.
But don't you think that you can potentially confuse or give your team the wrong messages if you're telling them that the expectation is to be organized and then you're not demonstrating it?
No.
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 Where's that in the
No.
dictionary?
Where's what in the dictionary? No.
No.
It's right. It's the Urban Dictionary for no. Google it, somebody. It's in the Urban Dictionary under no. No, because my whole thing is I have a team because I'm going to hire people to do what I'm weak at. The things I'm weak at, I'm punting it. I'm getting 3 points on that, or I'm like, it's fourth down, punt it. You take care of it. That's not my strength. My strength is something else. So I'm going to focus on that. And somebody else on the team will focus on what I'm weak in because that's what they're strong in. And that's how we all move forward together. Looking like you ain't behind that.
I'm not.
What? I'm just saying. That's my thing. Well, won't you tell us about your reflection periods and reflection time? Please. How would you advise a new entrepreneur or just anybody in life what they should do about reflection? Because I always see you making notes, writing stuff on cards and these different notebooks and tablets you be writing. I mean, index cards and Post-its. So please enlighten us.
Well, I think it's good to start with the goal, but you may not always have a goal. So that's why I try to write things down so I can capture where I am at any moment in time, as well as capture where I'm trying to go. So then when I go and I can look back and say, oh, on this date, on June 5th, I said I wanted to do A, B, and C. And so now when I look back, I can see how far I've come or I haven't come from June 5th. So I believe that reflection is important and that we should be reflecting on a regular basis. Now, how often we reflect, that depends on the person. But if you also haven't documented or captured where you are and where you want to go, it makes it a lot more challenging to reflect. Let me give you an example. At the end of last year, I went through every single week of my calendar to remind myself of all of the different events I had attended, all of the different people with whom I met, and I started charting who I needed to follow up with.
Okay.
And then I thought it was going to be just like one little column, maybe 10, 15 people, or maybe one person a month that I would need to reach back out to. But in doing so, it reminded me of how many different events I had attended, how many different people I had met, how many opportunities I missed to reconnect with people, when I had dropped the ball, when I didn't drop the ball. And if I hadn't taken the time to reflect, I may not have been able to capitalize on opportunities that are still on the table. And I also would have brushed it off as if last year or previous year wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. Like, by reflecting and writing down what I had done and then reviewing what I had done, it reminded me of, wow, it was a pretty awesome year, setbacks and all. And wow, I met some pretty awesome people. And wow, in the new year, I could reach out to those people and reignite some old relationships. I don't know about you, but if I have somebody that reaches out to me that I hadn't spoken to in a while, I don't sit there and say, oh man, I haven't heard from this person in like 12 years. No, it's like, oh wow, nice to hear from you. What's going on? What you doing? How can we work together?
Oh no, I
right?
think that.
You
I'm not saying in a bad way. Like, I'll just be like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to this person in like 10 years.
But by the time they call you, like, you feel bad or you feel better?
I don't know. Like, I can't say bad or better. Like, a good example is, like, I posted something on LinkedIn, like, I don't know, last week. And one of my boys, Kent, left a comment and hit me up. And I want to say, we probably haven't talked. His son is like 16 now. Maybe like 14 years, give or take.
Is that really your boy if you haven't talked in like 14 years?
See, but that's where I'm different because, like, to me, like, life happens and things are going on. And, like, sometimes people, like, you hit that fork in the road and, like, we all used to work together. And it was three of us. It was Kevin, Kent, and myself. We were running hard all the time in the office and out in the street. And when I say in the street, I don't mean, like, doing bad stuff. Like, we were selling real estate together. But life happens, and it was like a fork in the road, and like everybody started doing something different, and then we reconnected. But to me, it's like hitting a pause button on your favorite song, because the phone rings. So you pause it, you take the phone call,
and then you come back to the song 14 years later.
Then when you finish the phone call, you hit the pause button, and you go right back into your groove. That's how it is for me. Like, everybody's different. To me, it's just like, oh, some time passed, but I'm like, you still my boy, or you still my homegirl. Like, give me a hug. Like, how's everything been? Blah, blah, blah. To me, it almost, like, I feel sad sometimes because I'm like, damn, we lost all this time. But then I look at it from the other side and be like, it makes it that much more interesting because all that time that we weren't connecting, that gives us, like, so much to catch up and talk about that makes it that much more exciting when we do reconnect.
But do you think that if you were more intentional about reflecting on your network and the people in your network, that you may have reached out to Kent a little bit sooner?
Nope. Because the cards didn't have that. Listen, I said it earlier. I think everything happens for a reason, and it happens in time.
BS. I'm calling BS on that.
Okay.
Because if you were just...
No, I'm not talking about sitting around like that whole secret BS where you're just like, oh, I'm going to have $1 million. Oh, I'm going to have a successful business.
No, you're the first person talking about execute.
I am, but I'm just saying.
But that's not executing. That's not being intentional.
But if you... I'm saying
the cards will come when it may when it comes to my boys.
I'm just saying it happens.
Those are my boys. Kid,
it's not like
you're my boy.
It's like I'm sitting on the couch like, oh, can't wait to reconnect with those dudes. I'll send them a message tomorrow. No, you were talking about like reflection. You like, and you said earlier how you do a deep dive into the reflection. I'm just like, oh damn, what happened with X, Y, and Z? Yo, I need to catch up with them. Mental note made. Get back on the grind. And then during the grind, something will transpire or happen during that grind time frame or that timeline to be like, oh, remember such and such you were reflecting on before? Time to check that off the list. Done. Check. Like, to me, everything happens. But it happens based on you obviously executing and mapping a strategy towards it, not just sitting around like, one day I'm going to own a business, or one day I'm going to drive this fancy car, or one day I'm going to meet my spouse. You know, whatever it is, like you have to act on it. But I'm just saying, within my reflection, it's not like a super deep dive like yours where you go to your notes and all this. I'm just like running through my, my mental journal. I was like, oh, what about this? Oh yeah, we need to finish that, or we need to follow up on it. Which is why I'm super organized in my head, and I want a good team. So when I'm like, hey, team member, I want that AR joint in the next piece doing X, Y, and Z, and it spinning around advertising this or promoting that. That's what I got the team for. Because I'm running 100 miles an hour. I'm thinking, we doing today? I'm thinking next year. Right? Everybody's still, my thing for 2020.
But when you get to next year,
I'm thinking 2021
when you get to next year,
already.
You haven't even look back and be like, oh, this is what we did well, so that you know what to do more of.
Oh, yeah, I do, but I'm just saying I'm not doing it in the same aspect as everybody else. Like, everybody has their own style. I'm not knocking it. You write everything down. Like, your notes, they're phenomenal. Like, we be in meetings, and you write everything down. You got these different color pens. Everything is color-coded. And I'm like, damn, like, that looks so impressive. But to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then I'm just like, damn, I got to carry 5 pens? I'm not, like, give me 1 pen. I just write it down. Boom.
That sounds like excuses.
It's not excuses. It's just my style. Like in this.
Excuse style.
Excuse style. All right,
excuse style.
Somebody put that at the bottom in words. Excuse style. And come up with a definition for Webster's dictionary. But like this year, like I look back. So you talk about reflection. I look back and I was like, man, I make notes horrible. There's pieces of paper here. I got a notebook with some stuff in it. So I'm like, this year, not even this year. I was like, I need to change up, because that whole 2020 is the New Year resolution. Like, I don't believe in that. I'm like, you want to change something, just do it now. Whether it's a Sunday, a Monday, it's the 12th, it's the 31st, whatever day it is, just do it. So I was like, I got to get better with these notes and pieces of paper everywhere, and then I put them in my pocket. So now I'm trying to change up my strategy going forward to get them all in one place. And I don't know how it's going to work, because I'm just starting to work on it now. But maybe 1 or 2 episodes, we'll see what happens. And I'll just be like, it worked. Or I'll be like, I'm looking for something new.
We may or may not see, because you might not take the time to look back and reflect.
Oh, okay. That's a dig. I got it. I'll take that. Thing 1 for you. Somebody put a score thing pop up on the screen. 1 point for Johnson.
It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition.
It's
I'm
just
keeping
trying to figure out the best practices.
Absolutely. But I'm still keeping score. Ding, 1 for Johnson. So reflection, yeah. Everybody reflects different. So my advice to someone is to reflect as often as you can, or as often as you want, based on your style. Yours is very detailed and deep. Mine is like different.
So to move on to the next question, what are some mistakes you've seen business owners make in the
Where these questions come from, bro? Is
of their career?
that from that website we were talking?
Nah.
What are some mistakes? What
are some mistakes you've seen business owners make in the early stages of their career, and what advice would you give to that business owner in regards to that mistake?
Bro, I don't know. I'm still making mistakes. I'm probably I'm making mistakes right now. I pulled this thing out. Somebody probably watching the video and be like, "Why is he playing with that?" I don't know. I don't know. Mistakes people make.
Okay, change the question. Not what mistakes do people make. What mistakes did you make? Top 3.
A lot.
Top 3.
A lot. The top 3 mistakes I made. A lot. Jeez, I don't know. The not acting fast enough on some ideas I had. Procrastinating, like a great example. At the box, the soap box, we should have started deliveries way sooner than we just started. That was not a huge mistake, but it was a mistake. Did it put us out of business? No. But it was an opportunity where we could have got a lot more traction than we have now with our client base and then the neighborhoods that we're in. Top three? I can't even say they're top three. I'm just like, is this a mistake?
Come on, hold yourself accountable.
Oh, it's like, listen, I hold myself accountable every day. You're going to mess something up next week. You know whose fault it is? Whose fault is it? Mine. It's not your fault. It's my fault. You know why? I hired you. At the end of the day, anything goes wrong at any one of our companies, it's our fault. Everybody else here has the luxury of saying when something goes wrong to the client or to another team member, I don't know. Let me go ask Johnson. Let me go ask Cope. And they hand it off. It's like football. Everybody's about to tackle me. I hand you the ball, and then everybody stops running after me and starts running after you to tackle you. All the pressure, everything just went away from me. Now it went to you. So anybody on the team has that luxury. We are the first and last line of defense when something goes wrong. There's nobody else's fault. One of our team members right now at a site is chewing gum and it's against the rules and the client is upset or doesn't have their tie on. The client's going to look at them and then pick up the phone and send us an email, a text, or call us and be like, hey, Johnson, I'm over here in Lower Manhattan and your guard doesn't have a tie on. What's up with that?
I gave him 2 ties, but
you can't even say that. You can't even.
my fault.
You can't even
It's
like.
my fault.
I don't know. I don't know, Ricky, why he's not wearing a tie. I gave him 2. No, because at the end of the day, you hired him. So if Johnny doesn't wear his tie, when Ricky calls and complains,
you gotta take it like a champ.
we hired him. It's our fault. So, accountability, yes, sir.
I eat accountability for breakfast, lunch, and
Every day.
dinner.
All right,
Every day.
So what
You see
what
these
are
gray
your
hairs?
top 3 mistakes?
He just said one.
All right.
So can I say one now?
Yeah, I don't know. What's a mistake you made?
I think one of my biggest mistakes
300
was
mistakes.
trusting untrustworthy people, right? So when you're getting started, you may not have a team, and so you may go off the strength of people that you know through other people. So connections, strong and weak links. And when I came into the security business, there were people who were working for us because they had worked with my dad or worked with my grandma. So I was like, all right, they were good with my dad and my grandma, they good with me. But they weren't. And I was trusting that because it worked well with my dad and my grandma, that they would have the same respect for me and they would put in the same work ethic. But on a couple of different occasions, I realized that wasn't the case. And who I thought people were was not who they really were. So I'm not going to say don't trust people, but you have to be mindful that sometimes we put our trust in people who are not trustworthy. And that can repeat itself because then you get gun shy. You don't want to hire people. You don't want to work with people, or it takes you a longer time to make a decision about doing business with people. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you're just like, I got to deal with them. I got to hire somebody. I have to take this account. And then in the end you realize, man, that person wasn't worth it. And so as an entrepreneur, you have to build out your sensitivity, not like Ralph Tresvant sensitivity, but more like just be conscious of people who are trustworthy for you. Yeah. It says trust your gut. You got to build up that gut muscle, and not like by eating too much or too many brownie bites, but just in understanding what works for and with you and what kind of people you can better deal with.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I could go with that. That makes sense.
What other mistakes? Oh, you done?
Oh, I could probably think of like a couple hundred, but at the end of the day, I don't respect my mistakes. That's the easiest thing I can say. Like they happen, and I'm like learn from it and then go on. But here's one you brought up. Talking about new, what Hamlet said about someone who's new in business or not even new in business or just in business period. Here's the best one I can give you. Mistake I've made that I will not make anymore. Can you hear me good here? Because I want to make sure everybody hears this good. Do not hesitate to fire people and to hire new people. Let me repeat that. Fire them. I am not saying I like firing anybody. I hate it more than anything. But the longer someone who is not a good fit stays, the longer it throws everything else off in your organization. And then it becomes this thing where it's like, it's like almost like poison. And then the people next to them, they get like irritated or they get turned off, and then it ruins their experience. And then it's going to ruin your clients' and customers' experience, because then they're going to be feeling some kind of way, and then when they have to interact with your client where your revenue comes from, that's going to be a problem for you. So fire fast and then hire.
I can say this for
Facts.
people who have come to me and asked for business advice. One of the things that's particularly irritating is when people ask for advice and then they don't follow the advice that you give them.
I don't want to talk about that.
Like, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Now, if I go to the dog
What's
groomer
going on
and
on
ask the
Instagram?
dog groomer how to grow my security business, the dog groomer might not have the best advice. But if I'm in security and I go to a security person and ask them what they did to grow their business, and they tell me step by step what they did, and then I decide to do something different, number one, I just wasted their time. And number two, I look like an idiot. So if you're going to ask someone for advice.
But they're asking you because they already know the answer. They already know. They've already made a choice, which is why they're asking you, because they want you to validate their choice.
I'm saying don't waste my time.
I get that, but let's think about the whole, the psychology behind it. It's 5 o'clock. Oh man, I gotta do that order for dude. Someone who's asking you that has already made a decision, but they want you to validate the decision they made because they're concerned about the judgment that's going to happen when they do that, when they execute on that choice.
But your judgment's going to be even worse when you realize you're wrong.
No, but they're not worried about their judgment or which to choose. They're worried about what the people around them are going to judge them and think about the choice they made. So now they're asking you to get a bunch of people to hopefully be in line with the decision that they've already made in their head. So when they do it and those people, and it fails, and those people come back and be like, damn, you suck. They'll be like, but you said I should do it. Because they want to play the, oh, you agreed. What's that, Misery Loves Company? But if in my head, what's that post we did not so long ago, Espinoza talking about filtering out the noise, right? Go back to that. Bring that post up on from IG we put up. Like, if you're filtering out the noise and you're making this decision based on your business, what is the best interest for you, your family, your team members, your clients, who cares what these other people think? Because most of the time, the people who are going to be judging you and talking about the people who haven't walked in your shoes, who are not in business, have no freaking clue what you deal with on a day-to-day. Here's my new thing. Here's my new thing for everyone. Anyone that wants to tell me what I should be doing or how I should be doing it. Now, it's different if someone you're going to for advice who has done what you're trying to do, who has accomplished it, or is doing the same thing and has made advances in it, or might be struggling just like you in it, and then you compare notes with like, yo, I did this and it didn't work, and they're like, well, I did these other things that didn't work, and be like, okay, so now we know not to do any of these other things both of us have done. Let's try these things that neither one of us has done, and now we win, right? My whole thing is, someone's like, oh, you should not do it. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times people have said, oh, you're doing this with your business, or you should fire Ordonez because he's no good. They didn't really say that. I'm just messing with you, Ordonez. But, like, my whole thing is, how many times have you made payroll for 200 people? If they cannot answer that question, then I'm going to be like, I respectfully decline what you're telling me. Because you're telling me from an outside perspective, and I'm not saying somebody looking on the outside can't add value, but if you're on the outside and I'm on the court dribbling the ball, you've never played basketball, you've never taken a jump shot, you've never done a layup, you don't know how much air should be in the ball for it to bounce properly, you've never coached, how much can you really tell me about what I'm doing?
But get this, though. So if you're starting a business, if you're new to business, even if you've been in business for a long time, there are people out there that will tell you all of their secrets. And they're usually the most successful people. Like Warren Buffett, you read books on what he's telling people. You can see him on CNBC. It's not like a secret to his strategy. It's just the people that he tells most of the time, they don't listen and apply what
Well,
they
most
say.
people don't listen.
I know, but that's the key. That's the key. When you talk
No,
about
you know
mistakes,
why? Because it's hard.
it's not hard.
No, what we
Put
do,
one
what we
foot
do,
in front
no,
of the
what-
other.
That's hard for some people. What we do every day is hard. Listen, if it wasn't hard, why do you think there are people out there selling, make $5,000 a week, download this program, scroll, click, put in your information, and then sign up for my course? Or how about this one? Scroll, click, join me at my mastermind down in Miami, or join me at my mastermind in San Diego. And it's always someplace with some nice freaking weather too. Like, what is up with that? But if people were willing to put in the work and do what's hard, right, there would be more people on the other side of the spectrum.
But that's
right?
one mistake. The perception is that the work is hard.
I mean,
Like to me, it's much harder to be broke in America than to work.
I get that, but I'm just talking about
No, like the work. No, for real.
But it's hard compared to what they're used to doing. If you really think
How would
about
you
it.
know if you don't try?
Because to them mentally they have established like it's why do people make millions and hundreds of millions or whatever that motivational industry self-help, I don't know what the dollar amount is. Somebody needs to Google that and have that thing pop up over my head. Whatever the dollar amount is, somebody needs to put that in here in this video and show it is so much money in that industry because people want something easy. And it will, unfortunately, it probably will never stop. It will never stop. Like, I bet you half the conferences people go to, they're selling to them probably, I don't know, 70, 80% of the time. They're pitching them to buy something when they go to these conferences. You go to a conference, there's a table in the back, and they got stuff for you to buy.
When's the last time you went to a conference?
Exactly. I don't go because...
So how do you know?
Cause like I see their videos come up in my feed. It'd be like sponsored. Are you coming to Miami 2020? We're gonna be there and we're gonna tell you how to freaking 5x your business. What? Just pay a low fee of $19.97. You know, some crazy. But then they tell you, oh, this package normally sells for $5,000. But if you click now, I'm going to give it to you for $500. How does it go from $5,000 to $500? And everybody out there know exactly what I'm talking about. They seen it. It'd be some big ticket, and then they put the slash through it, and then they'd be like, oh, we're going to throw in this, and this is a $800 value. We're going to throw this in. This is a $1,200 value. And you'll get this whole package.
It's called economy of scale.
Economy of scale. It's called economy of scam. Economy of scale. No way. Like, it's hard. Just right up there where somebody says, oh, cope. Like, they'll DM me, right? And or send me, like, leave a comment and DM me. Like, what are your recommendations for passive income? Don't even get me started on passive income. There's no such thing as passive income. Every piece, every penny, every dollar, every amount of income that comes into our accounts, we work for. It's passive means I just do something and I sit here and I have to do absolutely nothing and it continues to send me money. I don't know of anything that you could maybe...
Pyramid scheme.
Who?
A pyramid scheme.
Yeah, pyramid, that's scheme. It's a scheme. I'm talking about something legitimate, honest, where I can go home at night and lay down and I'll have no stress and be like, oh man, like I got morals. Like I can't be taking money from people and just be like, oh, now give me $500 because I told you you should use a red pen when you write your proposals to your clients because red gets more attention. Like I couldn't do that. Like I just can't. Right? So there is no such thing as passive income. And people come up with this and they think that because they want something easy. Let's be absolutely clear. Everyone, are you out there? Is everyone listening? Let's be clear. If those plans, those schemes, those programs, whatever name we want to call them, worked, where it says you can make this $10,000 a week, or I grew my business 100x in 6 months, if they worked, don't you think everybody would be doing them and everybody would be rich?
But what about the people that they do work for?
Yeah,
Because
you know who they work for? The person who's selling it to you. That's who it works
But
for.
they have people that come and really benefit from some of those conferences and,
I'm talking about-
and turn it around. Granted, it might be a very small percentage of them. So you're saying we should get rid of all of
No,
these
I'm not
people?
saying get rid of anything. This is America. It's capitalism. People are free to sell whatever they want that is within the guidelines of the law. I'm not here to judge anybody about ethics and what's morally right, because everybody has a different compass when it comes to that. I'm just saying, for people who are out there looking for it, trying to get it fast, it's not an option. It doesn't work that way. The only person getting rich is the person you're giving your money to. Now, in some of those cases, are there legitimate people out there who are like coaches, or they've done something in their business and they're like, you know what? I'm going to write down this blueprint. I'm going to document the principles or the roadmap that got me from my business making, $25,000 a year, working by myself as a solopreneur, and I built it up to a team of 20 people, and now we're making 1.8 million a year. And see, that's where people get it twisted too, because everybody has this thing now, because we're in the age of the internet and tech, that you don't have a successful business unless you're doing like uber millions, right? Like what is wrong with a business, legitimately a small or mid-sized business that makes anywhere from, I don't know, $200,000 to $600,000 a year? What's wrong with that?
According to U.S. Small Business Administration statistics I recently looked at, the average business with no employees, small business with no employees, grosses approximately $47,000 a year.
Wait, say that one time. A small business?
The average small business in the United States with no employees grosses on average $47,000 a year.
So that means the owner is doing all the work themselves, and they gross $47,000 a year. Like, think about that. First of all, I have no idea what the stats are, but people talk about the 99% is in the 1%. What is the average salary that ends up putting you in the 1% category? Because people say 1%, and I think people think people that are like uber rich, like they have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, or billionaires. Like, they're probably like the 0.01% or some crazy number like that. But if you're just in a 1%, like if the average business is one person, which is the owner of the business, makes $47,000, I bet you if your business, or you make probably like somewhere like the $300,000 to $400,000 range, you're probably close to the 1%. And I'm just like, first of all, what's wrong with that? People have got it so twisted.
Well,
like,
at least the 10%. Maybe the 20%.
Like, listen,
but still,
I'm bad at math. Like, I count on my fingers. Check my post. Like, what is wrong with that? That's why I think people got it. You need to figure out what's good for you and your world, your ecosystem, and do that.
Well, I'll say this as a side note. I encourage women to try to get as much as you can. Build your purse. Ask for what you're worth. We're always going to get less money than men get. So I don't have any problems with women trying to get $1 million.
I'm not saying you shouldn't get
but hold
$1
on,
million.
let me finish my.
I'm just saying,
let me finish my public
okay.
service announcement.
PSA.
I'm all for millionaire women. I'm all for millionaire women business owners. Go out and get that money. You know why? Because when we make money, we reinvest. We reinvest in our families. We reinvest in our businesses. We reinvest in our communities. And so if we're not making as much money, then we're pulling from a place and maybe putting ourselves in a detriment. But the more money we make, the more we can put those funds to work and reinvest. And the people that we're already reinvesting in. So ladies, do not be afraid to get your millionaire on. Here's to all my millionaire women in the making. Holla at your girl. Let's make it happen sooner than later. But you were saying?
I don't like what you said. Is spot on. Like, I want people to make as much as they want to make, but don't chase it or be under the perception that it has to be under this guideline or this cloud that someone else has created. Because when you go on their social, you see them sitting in a fancy car or in a private jet, or like they're always on vacation. Like, bro, like, listen, like, don't even get me started on, like, I don't know if anybody who's built a business that is successful and has reached a high level, and every time I look at their social, they're on vacation or they're at some restaurant eating. I don't get it. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. But if I'm taking the funds personally, and this is just me, if I'm taking whatever excess profits, whatever profits my company kicks off, and I take that and put it in my pocket and say, you know what? We're going to like Bora Bora, or we're going to like Turks and Caicos, or we're going to eat at this restaurant. That's money I'm not putting back in the company to grow it, right? I'll give you you get it as well as I do. People will send us a DM or message us or text us, people who are closer to us that have our numbers, or email us off social and be like, your videos are nice. Your videos are hot, right? You've gotten that. How do you do it? And then you respond to them, or I respond, oh, we have a team. And then they respond, oh, who did you use? So when we say team, they're under the impression that, oh, we outsourced it to someone else. Like I found some agency, or somebody on Craigslist. I don't know, anywhere, wherever you find your people.
So are you saying our team is our vacation?
Exactly. Because it's
Then you also said fire fast?
yeah.
So all these guys are fired so I can go on vacation?
Well, if that's your choice, but then if you do that, then what's happening right now will slowly fade away. Right? So it's people want to know what kind of advice you want to give for business. It depends on who you are and what your goals are. Right? I'm like, bring up the post again where somebody said to me, "Oh, Cope, what happened when you was at Crane's New York and you was up on the stage and they started? What was the question they were asking at that Crane's small business panel?"
Which one?
It was which one? Like she's a baller.
I'm a friend of Crane's.
She's a baller. She's
Crane's
on
New York
all
business.
these different panels while I'm in the basement working. When they were like, oh, they started talking about exit strategies for family businesses, right? What'd you tell them?
This is the exit strategy.
Right. It's bring up the post that we did not too long ago.
What's your exit strategy, Cope? Somebody asked me that in some event. So what's you guys' exit strategy? I'm gonna do this till I die. That's my exit strategy. The coffin, the ground, 6 feet, me.
My exit strategy is simple. 6 feet, a hole in the ground, and a coffin. I'm dead. That's when I'm out. Like, and respect to everybody who's doing a business and they say, oh, I want to build it because I want to sell it. I want to do. Respect. That's your goal. That's what you want to do. You want to buy a $10,000 watch. Respect. When you buy it, hit me up because I want to see it. Because I've never owned a $10,000 watch and I just want to touch that on your arm for a hot second. Oh, I cursed. Sorry. I just want to see it for a hot second. Beat that out. Right? But for me, I'm building this for the long term. I'm in it because it's what I like to do. So if I can take money and say, now we hire a team. And the team helps us do X more. Versus me sitting here with a camera, or I'm sitting here with you, okay, say that, record it, and then I'm sitting here, how do I edit this on, and I gotta splice this, I gotta add music, or I'm on my laptop. That ain't my thing. That's the team's thing. Put the people in a place who are stronger than you in those areas. So now I sacrifice going to Bora Bora or Turks and Caicos. I don't even know what, somebody find that on a map. Where is that, right? I don't go there, but now I'm able to hire someone who's good at editing, who's good at audio, who's good at video productions, who's really creative with thumbnails or taking photos and editing them, right? And then that gets us X more exposure or gets us connected to the next person because that turns into a post on LinkedIn and then somebody sees the post and then they read the bio and say, oh, wow, she's a security lady. What's that about? Click. And then, oh, wow, security guard firms. Oh, wow, like, I do have 3 buildings where I need someone sitting at the front desk. Let me send her a message. Let me DM her. Or let me send her an email. And then maybe it leads to business, maybe it doesn't. Like, good example. Somebody texted me today and was like, oh, does the soapbox service Sunset Park? Sorry, we don't. But here's a couple places who do service Sunset Park. They do pickup and delivery. I can't vouch for them, but they got some good ratings on Yelp and Google. Let me know if I can help with anything else. But would that person have reached out to us to ask us if we do Sunset Park if we didn't have a team and we were producing content on Instagram, Facebook, or on Google My Business, right? No. But maybe the next person that asks me, do you service commercial accounts in this area? And it turns into a large account or a good size, a medium account, or even a small account. Because I sacrificed going to Turks and Caicos and took that money and put it in Espinoza, or put it in Hamlet, or put it in Ordonez, or Miss AJ, or Armbruster, who's across the pond right now, right? short-term sacrifice leads to long-term success. $422,000. $422,000 is what you need to be in the 1%. So the person that makes 5 million, 10 million, 1.1 million, a billion, what percent are they in? 1%.
$1 million.
Your household makes $422,000. You're in the 1%. Now, don't get me wrong. Is it hard to make $422,000? Yes and no. Depends on what you're doing, how you're trying to make it, what your passions and interests are, right?
But if you get a plan,
and you execute, and then you keep adjusting,
it's
because the water gets a little
that.
choppy. I see a storm over there, so I'm gonna reroute my ship. But see, everybody want to go from point A to point, because B is where the island is with the money and the parties. Everybody want to get here and go straight there. But you got to realize when you buy that ticket, sometimes you got to fly here and do a layover and catch a connecting flight. And then that flight takes off and they say, oh, this is the captain speaking. We just want to let you know we got to reroute due to bad weather. So we're going to be landing in Hardship Town for about 6 months. And then from there you can catch a connecting flight to get to your goal. So then you land here. And then you're like, damn, the next flight ain't to 6 months. But then you close, you be like, oh, I'm so close. I can use the binoculars and stand on shore and I can see the party island. Then you get in the little plane, the little propeller plane where it lands on the water with the skids. You get in that, be like, I'm so close, I'm about to get there. And that sucker takes off and you chugging. This is the pilot. Oh, no, he ain't gonna say this the pilot because you can see him. They got those headphones on. You just hear him say, oh, and you're in the back like, oh my God. Oh, I curse, sorry. What's going on? And he's like, we got emergency landing. And then you land in the ocean. And then y'all get in one of those little rafts. And you're like, damn, we're so close. But now we got a paddle. But then you realize the paddles got lost when the plane crashed. And everybody jumped out the plane so fast because it was sinking and got in the raft. So now the current is pushing you away because you got no paddles. And then
are you ever going to get to the island with the party?
You will. But you know what? It takes work and it takes patience. So you might not get there. You think you're going to get there in 2 years because you brought that course that says you're going to make $5,000 a month. And then you buy it and you realize you make $1 a month.
But you paying them.
But you paid them $5,000 for their mastermind. Right? But you got to do the work. It's work. You just don't buy a ticket and it flies you there and you're like, I'm an entrepreneur or I'm this and I'm that. I'm a gajillionaire. No. You have to do the work.
The household income doesn't really tell you how much debt that household does to attain that 500.
Oh, we're not even talking about debt. Yeah. Right? That's a whole nother story.
It's another episode.
The average citizen has $60,000 in debt.
Jeez.
That's nothing.
Yeah, for
no,
real.
for real, that's nothing if you have a mortgage.
But I know people with more debt than that from school. 60,000 is like I know people.
That could be 1 year.
I know people with student loans. If they only had $60,000 of debt, they'd be like, "Yay!" No way. Yeah. So I don't know. Where are we now? I don't know. I think we've dropped enough knowledge for this episode.
So I guess in summary, what we'll say is kind of reflect on where you've been in your journey, whether it's been personal or whether it's been in business, to understand what pitfalls you should try to avoid as you pursue being in business. Additionally, go and work with people who have already been successful, right? Ask them questions and heed their advice. Don't expect to make it big overnight. No, you got to put in the work. You got to bide your time. But if you have a plan and you're always checking back to that plan to realize how far you've come in the journey, what things are working, what things aren't working. If you remember to keep in touch with your network.
Yeah.
And build a network that can help you ride out the tides and the waves a little bit faster, then you can get in that 1%, all things considered, if that's what you want. But no sense in making it harder than you have to we're here to help make the road a little bit easier for you, sharing our experiences and helping to encourage you. So we hope you giggled. We hope you learned something. We hope you took away a couple of nuggets that you can put into practice. Hit us back. Hit us on IG. Hit us on LinkedIn. Let us know what you think so far about the content that we shared with you. Let us know what questions that you have so we can address them in the future. And we thank you for stopping by and visiting with us, and look forward to bringing you some more interesting, engaging, controversial, and funny content to help you as you navigate your career and business with somebody that you work closely with. Holla.